Man, you know, when I start off a video with a little drink, you know that means likely a Matty hot take is coming. And some people may say, enough of the suspense, enough of the dramatic flair. But look, I got something on my chest. I can't just leap right into it, right? This is the only way I know how to do it. This is the way. So ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about Fallout 76 in a dedicated video. Are you kidding me? Yes. Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, I know. This is quite a surprise. It's been since Wastelanders, which, by the way, that came out 20 years ago at the beginning of 2020. Here we are, towards the end of 2020, talking about the latest update. I've talked about it a couple of times in recent Bethesda videos saying how, hey, Steel Dawn's coming. It looks pretty solid. It's more of what Wastelanders did, and I dug Wastelanders. However, between Fallout 76 Wastelanders and Steel Dawn, there are a lot of quality of life updates and daily mission updates to add longevity to the game, to give concurrent players something to do when they run out of quests, like daily ops, like the scoreboard system, which we'll be diving into in today's video. But the Fallout 76 Steel Dawn update, it dropped early. I know some of you out there might be like, well, Matty, you're playing on the PC. What about the PTS, bro? No, I'm good, really. I did my beta testing for 76 when the game came out, okay? I did it back then. I put like 170 hours in on my PS4. I'm fine, really, okay? I'll wait for the full version that they're confident with releasing to the public to come out. So they accidentally released the patch on Xbox early, and then they rolled it back and said, hey, let's just give it out early to everyone. Something in my head tells me they probably heard that maybe Cyberpunk 2077 review copies are gonna be coming out soon, and Bethesda probably shouldn't wait till December to get this update out. Get people playing now, and I think this was a smart choice. But anyway, I've been playing this update, and you all know me. I try to be objective here, and I think I'm one of a few people on the platform that tries to be objective with 76. I've been calling balls and strikes on this game since 2018, right? When the game was first announced. When they did something good, I said it. When they did something bad, I said it, right? So in today's video, I want to talk about how Steel Dawn is another good update. Now, I know a lot of you want to hear about the update. I'm sorry for the longer intro, but I need to make one thing clear. I am looking at this through a very specific Fallout 76 lens. By that, I mean you can go on eBay and get like a PS4 copy for 10 bucks or less. Very cheap game. If you're on Xbox, roughly the same price if you want the game itself, or if you're a Game Pass owner, it's already available there. So it's a very, very cheap buy-in, and Steel Dawn is another bigger free update coming to this game. Let's talk about what Steel Dawn brings to the table and some of the recent updates I missed that I'm now experiencing here with Steel Dawn, and my overall perspective on it, which is good. So Steel Dawn, as I'm sure you can imagine by the title, brings the Brotherhood of Steel back into Fallout 76, which is pretty neat to say the least. I know some people have issues with it because of lore reasoning. I will say, if you're gonna hop into this update, read some of the terminals. I think some of you will be happy when you read where some of the knights came from. Mojave Wasteland. Imagine they do like Fallout 76 California as their first big expansion into a new area. That'd be crazy. We'll talk about that later on. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, what happens here is pretty much Elder Maxon has sent this entire outfit of the Brotherhood of Steel to the Appalachia to help restore peace, to make sure that technology doesn't get into the wrong people's hands so that we can avoid another apocalypse. So it's a lot of the familiar Brotherhood of Steel we've seen in recent Fallout entries, where they're very much on top of things. They are in the name of good, but at the same time, they very much follow their own rule book. So nothing here has really changed. It doesn't challenge the philosophies, I feel, of the Brotherhood of Steel from at least a lore standpoint, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I think if you diverge too much, you're going to upset a lot of hardcore fans. But I think they could have crafted something a little more interesting on that front. But still, it's neat to see them because it does tie back into the overall main story when Fallout 76 launched, the whole chasing ghosts main story where you're collecting holotapes. When you're learning about the Scorch Beast and whatnot, and what exactly the Brotherhood of Steel was doing in Appalachia and the mission they went on to take on this Scorch Beast Queen and all that stuff, it's actually very cool how all this can now connect, and it makes more sense in the broader world. And that's why I want to go ahead and give them kudos, because you're seeing a vision that was very poor at first now kind of come to life, and you're starting to see with every step that Bethesda Game Studios is trying to make this sort of like what Elder Scrolls Online is. It's less online There are online components, of course, you can play with other players, you can do quests together, but other than that, like for example, in Steel Dawn, more than I noticed in Wastelanders, there's instanced locations. So you'll be going in buildings and having one-on-one dialogue with specific characters and making choices, and that was nice to see. It was very much like your own experience. And you can have friends come into your quest zone with you if they want to, but they're not going to complete the quest. It'll only complete yours. I still thought that this was great. Combine that with, I was playing on my PC character, which is a very low level, as you can already tell by the gameplay. My weapons stink. Everything about this character is honestly just terrible. But because of that one Appalachia update, which has everything scaled to my level, I'm not getting zoned off by stuff, so it's another welcome feat as someone who's playing on a lower level character. This was something I didn't have the perspective on going into my 76 character on the PS4, now PS5, because I was like level 90 something, going into the hundreds. Like I was fine. Nothing was gonna really stop me outside of like extremely high-end boss monsters, but even those I'd have to go out of my way to encounter. So in the terms of the story, it's nothing absolutely outstanding, but the fact that it's free and adds multiple hours of quests and things to do, I thought was a positive thing. Now this update also adds in camp shelters. So camp shelters is going to be awesome for a lot of people, because one of the things I hated most about 76 was not the crafting, but rather that I would have to find this one specific plot of land, put down my camp, and then build on this like slanted hill. And I'd like to say I'm a somewhat creative guy, but just my brain breaks with architecture and structuring, and I'm just not a good decorator at times. And so having this whole camp shelter where you can place down a camp shelter and boom, go underground and have your own sort of instance environment to build to your heart's content. Awesome. Awesome decision. There's more budget for you to build with, so you can really fill these areas out. It's a lot less cramped. It's a place your friends can go to chill, to talk, to organize stuff, to craft, to scrap items down, to store things, to just overall build together, get tons of XP. This was a really smart feature to add, because I think you're going to see a lot more people building. For me, what I did was I'd find a place to put my camp down. I'd go ahead, I'd put my stash box down, store my scrap, maybe put down a workbench to scrap everything else that I had in my inventory, and that was really it. There was sort of this recycle and repeat for players like myself who just wanted to go out and quest, and now they've created kind of a more appealing environment to, you know, build in. And I think since it's a core component, it's good that they just address it rather than outright abandon it, because while I know a lot of people are like me who appreciate just questing and Fallout, nowadays, I guess sadly for a lot of folks, we got to accept that building is a big part of that too. But one thing I liked a lot, was some of the daily activities they added into Fallout 76. And this comes from older updates, but it sort of melds in, right? Because let's say you're watching this video and you're interested in hopping in, maybe through Game Pass, first time ever. You're going to be experiencing this all at once, just like I did, and then some, right? You're going to have that Wastelanders questline. You're going to have that Steel Dawn questline, which both unlock at level 20. You're going to have the base content that's been improved. The world's now being filled out. You'll go to old locations, and you'll find out that, hey, this place that was once not populated now has a group of Wastelanders there, and they have a purpose, and there's a faction there, and it makes sense. And that stuff is awesome to see in motion. But the scoreboard is step one. Them adding a scoreboard in, it's pretty much Fallout 76's version of a battle pass. It is entirely free. Just playing the game, I leveled it up like 8 times in a couple of hour session, so it's pretty generous from the get-go at least, right? This is just my first hands-on impression for it. But it gives you awesome stuff, legendary mods. It gave me a huge healing kit. One of my biggest problems in the early game was getting stim packs, so having, hey, like 20 stim packs just dropped in my inventory, awesome. New furniture to decorate your camp with. It made me think, wow, I could see myself kind of looping back in every now and then to play this, because they also have daily ops, which are daily missions. You get plans from these, you get exciting stuff from these. Like, I just like the loop that 76 is starting to create now, because they're adding content that appeals to me, right? They're adding those NPCs, they're adding those choices, they're adding those quests. Now this one isn't in as abundance as, say, Fallout 76 Wastelanders, which was more like a gigantic expansion that helped relaunch the game. But Steel Dawn is nothing to scoff at. I really appreciate also that it's free, and it damn well better be when you've got Fallout First, the Atom Shop, and now a Battle Pass that, while it is free, you could also pay to rank up the entire thing, all right? Like, I'm not snoozing on the fact that this game has a lot of monetization, but I will say this much. I've never felt handcuffed ever by its monetization. It is there, it is present, but it's not ever really encouraging you to do that. And what's great is one quality of life change that they made here that I should have probably put in the front of the video, but I imagine if you're watching now, you're somewhat interested in what I have to say and about the future of 76. This might be one of the bigger game changers of them all. You no longer get debuffed when you are hungry or when you are thirsty, and I cannot tell you how amazing that is to hear. 76 played like a survival game, so when your hunger meter went down, when your thirsty meter went down, your character would have all these debuffs, and instead of going off and doing a quest or a mission, for me at least, I'd go hunting for purified water, or I'd go find dirty water and I'd boil it, and it just took me out of the crap I was interested in. And now, finally, 76 realizes, hey, let's just reward them for eating and drinking, and if they don't eat or drink, we don't penalize them. That's what this update brings, and it's actually amazing because I can just focus on what I care about now. I like some of the survival aspects, and it would be cool if you could turn them on or off, but I am just happy they got rid of them. So, in a lot of ways, this update improves the games, but let's talk flaws because it is not all perfect here. Like I said in the beginning with the story, I don't think they really challenged what the Brotherhood of Steel is. Not that they have to, but it did feel safe to an extent. With that in mind, though, bug-wise, what I noticed is when I was playing this game on Ultra, and I don't think 76 is really pushing any PCs, when I was playing this game on Ultra, the load times were insane. Like, really long. Until I bumped it down to high, then everything loaded in fine. Now, I don't know if that's a game issue or a PC issue. My PC is getting on in age, so I don't want to fully blame 76, but this part is on 76. Whenever I entered Fort Atlas, which is the place you go to interact with the Brotherhood of Steel, it dropped frames horrendously. Even when I turned off gameplay capture just to test for myself, the frame rate in there was really poor, and that was extremely weird. And it may have just been an isolated incident purely with me, but when I saw that, I was like, man, come on. But in the terms of quests working, everything functioning properly, the game was fine. It's a lot better on PC, at least, I think, than other systems. Maybe on next-gen consoles, it'll run a lot better. But as it stands now, this new update, I liked it. You know, I liked it. I think the fact that they're adding Wastelanders free, Steel Dawn free, the scoreboard system is free. They've added a lot of good free content, and I hope they keep it up, right? I know there will come a time and a day where 76 is probably going to try to charge people for a large expansion. I just hope they pick that time wisely. And the reason I say that is because, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, there's some mentioning in some terminals of a Mojave Wasteland, and not like you're going to go there, but that's where these people came from, which would make sense. But point being is there's a lot of nods to California, you know, the West Coast. And I'm thinking to myself, imagine if one day they found out, hey, with new consoles, we're actually able to expand our map to a whole other area, and they created a new map in California. What would that look like? That would probably be the time where I think Bethesda could justify charging for it, but I feel as long as they remain in Appalachia and they just keep expanding on this base content and filling out this map, that they're not going to be able to charge people for those updates. But I don't know, maybe that's something they save for another relaunch, because more people have to get ingrained with the new gen consoles and getting folks through that door, which will take some time, of course, because of the shortages in supply. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. I just want to go ahead and share my thoughts on the newest update. Like I said, I try to be fair with everything I talk about, and sometimes being fair isn't the easiest thing here on the platform because I'm talking positively about 76, but I know most of you understand I'm coming from a place of, hey, if you got like a couple of bucks lying around or you're on Game Pass already, it might be worth a shot. I'm not saying go pay the $60 or the $40 or whatever it is on Steam. You don't gotta pay full price. No, please don't. But get it for cheap. If you get it for cheap, it's worth your time, really. Like, it's a lot better now. Now, that's it, man. I know there's 1,000,001 games coming out, but this is another cool free update. I'm not in there constantly, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, but I gotta give Bethesda Game Studios a tip of the cap. They're doing a solid job here. We're seeing the game really come around, and I'm curious to see what they do for 2021. But that'll do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I'd love to see what you think of 76 Steel Dawn in the comments down below. Let me know. And with that, I will talk with all of you soon. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to push the limits of this content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.